In this video, we are going to look at 10 things you can do when you are building and you run out of cash. Coming up next. Okay, so we got a message from one of our followers on Instagram. He says, "Hi, my name is George. I'm building my house at OEB. I'm currently at the electrical and POP stage. I've just started purchasing the electrical wires and bits as per the list from the electrician. I've also taken the measurements with the POP guy and I'm waiting for his estimate also. I am down raising money. I would need your advice on what to do next." So I asked him, "Thanks for sharing your project progress. I'm not sure what you mean by you are down, right? Because you don't want to make any assumptions." He says, "What I meant is, advise me on how I can complete the project. My cash flow is not regular and the cost of items keeps rising. I also need to move from where I live now before the year ends. I need your advice and how to continue with the little income I make." So our good friend George has like 4 key things, right? He has started a building project. We can deduce that he's completed the roofing on the building project. In fact, he came on our TikTok live yesterday and made some clarifications. He's building a 1-bedroom story building, right? Now, what he needs to do is to do the wiring and also do POP, right? So he's gotten to a certain level. He's put all his money into the building project and he's broke currently, and I can relate. I have also reached a stage in my building project where I need funds, but the funds are not coming. I was expecting some money to come this week. It didn't come, and I need to do some work. And I'm sure most of you can also relate where there have been times where the cash flow wasn't coming as you expected. Now, his third point, which is a bit concerning, is that he needs to move out of where he is living by the end of this year, 2023. So since we are in March, he has essentially 9 months to complete his building project to a sufficient level to be able to move in and avoid paying rent. So assuming where he's living, he's paying rent, he doesn't want to renew or he doesn't have enough money to even pay his rent. So this is the scenario and this is what we are going to look at in the next 10 steps. So when you get to a stage where you have run out of cash, right, the very first thing I would advise is relax and review the levels of work that need to be done. So for our good friend George, he has identified that he needs to do the wiring. He's got an estimate from the electrician. He knows the materials he needs to purchase. So when he gets some small money, he'll go and purchase it. He also knows he needs to do POP, but he's saying the POP guy has not given him the estimate of the materials to go and purchase. But he's told him that it's going to cost you, let's say, 20,000 cedis for the POP. But he wants to know the individual cost of the material. So let's say the POP, cement and the fiber and every other thing that's going to go into the POP, right? So that one too, he can budget for it and be buying it bit by bit. And that's a really good thing that he's doing. So for me, on my building project, I recently went to clear the land so that we can build a wall and complete the rest of the work, which is ongoing. Now, when I did so, it immediately brought up something that I hadn't planned to do. And this was to buy blocks because we are almost like in the rainy season. Nowadays, it rains a lot. And the backhoe or excavator or whatever you call that machine, which came to like clear the land and made it like a bit level, right? Pushed all the sediments or the materials, the sand and the stones that it carried, it pushed all to one side of the house, right? So we want to fill that side of the house so that we can even build on top of it. Do you understand? And the way it's done, any small rain will bring all the sand and stones back down. And it's going to be a cost 90 job, right? So immediately, I need to go and buy blocks. I need to buy cement. I need to buy iron rods. In my mind, I was just going to clear the land. Then when I get money, I will continue the rest of the things. So the point is, you need to be able to assess the outstanding activities that you are going to do at that stage where your money got finished, right? So for me, I know I need to buy about 500 blocks, solid blocks. Today, 5 inches solid block is selling for about 7 Ghana cedis. So 500 is 3,500. I know I need to buy about 20 bags of cement. Even if I budget a bag of cement for 100 cedis, that's 2,000. So that takes us to 5,500. I've added transportation to the cement. That's why I'm budgeting it at that price. Then I know I need to buy iron rods as well because I need to do the wall. So I'll probably buy like 16 millimeters. If you watch our videos on the price of building materials on our main channel, I'm going to leave a link at the end of the video so that you can watch it if you are new to that channel. Then you know that 16 millimeters iron rod, a ton today is selling between 7,600 to 8,800. Some places are even selling it at about 11,000. The worst case scenario, even if I budget, let's say 9,000 cedis for a ton of iron rods. Right now I'm hitting 14,500 Ghana cedis for my wall. I need to buy stones as well. I need to buy water, and then I need to consider the cost of labor. So this is going to take me somewhere to almost 20,000 Ghana cedis, which I don't have. So I need to relax and then itemize each of the activities, the materials, the labor cost, and then it gives me an idea. And that is what will take us into the next steps, which is really important. So the second point that I put is, if you have a partner, that's great, because he or she may be able to help. Sometimes we carry the burden of building on our own, especially as men, because we feel that, like in Akan, there's a saying which says, it's something like, it's a man who is able to face the heat of the fire. Do you understand? It doesn't have to be that way, especially if you are married and your wife is also working. You don't have to carry the whole burden of the building on yourself. Or if you have a fiancé and you guys are planning on getting married, or if you're a woman and you have a husband, he can also help, right? So if you have a partner, it helps to divide the labor and you don't need to shoulder all the burden. If you don't have a partner who can assist you to share the burden of completing, for example, this 20,000 cedis cost I need to do, then you can consider going to buy items on credit. Now, it's not going to be that easy, because it's not every merchant who is going to accept credit terms of payment. But then if you've been able to build your project to like roofing stage, it means you've worked with masons, you've worked with carpenters, you've probably worked with plumbers. If you're somebody who has like credibility and you've been dealing well with these people, you've been tipping them small, you've been treating them well, you've been relating well with them, and this is the time for you to also ask for some favors, right? So for example, if you've been buying your cement at a particular merchant's place, he knows you by now, right? Because from your foundation till now, you've probably used about 200 bags of cement. So if you want 20 and you tell him, oh, your salary is going to come in a week, but because of the rains and everything, you want the cement on credit, he knows where you are building. You've been buying it from him. If he agrees, that's a good way to continue a project and not have your efforts wasted. I hope that makes sense. It's also very difficult to get merchants like this, but you don't need to give up. So you can find one or two merchants, like ask around. Somebody may be willing to get it for you on credit, especially if you are working with a contractor. Then that contractor has been working with the merchants for years, right? So they can put in a word for you that, oh, Charlie, my clients, no, Charlie, this time why you shake a crowd? So, bueno, like money into your bit in a month or a week or whatever. And that's going to be based on the credibility and reputation of the contractor and his relationship with the merchants. And that's why it's a really good thing to work with contractors like us, who have a range of merchants that we have worked with and we continue to work with to help you complete your building project in good time. We understand these things, but if you don't have somebody who can help you, sometimes it's very difficult. Now, if you have some amount of money, but it's not up to, let's say, I needed to buy 500 blocks, 5 inches solid blocks, right? And that's going to cost 3,500, but I have just, let's say, 2,000 cedis. You could also find a merchant who would agree for you to pay in installments, right? This one is not like I don't have any money, give it to me, I'll pay next week or I'll pay at the end of the month. This is, I have 2,000, but I need 500, else my building project can suffer. So can I give you the 2,000, supply me the 500, and I'll pay you the outstanding balance in a week or 2 weeks or a month. And please be somebody who is true to your word. When you promise a week, pay back during the week. If there's any reason why you cannot pay, then you need to let the contractor know as well, or the merchant know that, oh, maybe I've run into some unexpected scenario. But always try and be somebody who keeps your word, so that in future, if you need another favor, people can vouch for you, they can come in for you. Don't give up. Sometimes you may ask one person, the person may not agree, but go and ask the second, third, fourth, fifth person. The fifth point, so assuming you don't have a partner, assuming the merchant doesn't want to give you credit, assuming the merchant will not take installments, what you can do is to ask your friends or family. I know sometimes it's embarrassing, or sometimes you don't want to bother people, especially if you're like me. There are only about 2 people I ask for money when I'm really, really in need. Like, I find it so difficult asking people for money. If you have a supportive family and friend system, then you can ask for some money and make sure you pay back.